Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Urban Renal Talk with Tamika and Steve. I am your host, Steve Belcher. Tamika will be on shortly. Tonight we got a great show. We have a kidney warrior right here in my hometown. Well, not my hometown, but my place where I live, Baltimore, Maryland. Uh, tonight we're going to have Vern Tasker come on. Let me bring Vern on. What's going on, Vern?
Hey, Steve.
How
Hey,
you doing?
Tamika. Come on.
Yeah, Tamika not on yet, but when she come on, you'll know.
All right.
So how's everything going tonight?
Everything is going well. I had treatment today, so I'm kind of relaxing.
Mm-hmm. So what time did you go to treatment?
First shift, which is 6 a.m.
6
I'm in the
a.m. to
chair
what
by
time?
6:15. 6:15. I'm in the chair.
Oh, I mean, is it ever late?
The when I first started, I had second shift at 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um, but a spot opened up in the first shift, so I took that.
Mm-hmm. Vern, I thought that you had been on dialysis for a number of years, but when we talked the other night, it actually was you've been on for 2 years.
Yes, 2 years.
How did your journey start with kidney disease?
Well, let's see. First of all, I'd like to offer up a disclaimer. The words that are going to come out of my mouth from now on does not mean that I am some sort of know-it-all or a doctor or a nurse or a nutritionist. I can only tell you what my journey has been. So if you know me on Facebook, don't come for me, everybody, anybody, okay? Just take what I say as my gospel, not yours. Because in dialysis, everybody situation is different. From wherever you came from in this kidney journey, because a lot of people have come from heart attacks, drug abuse, diabetes, high blood pressure. They come from all walks of life. My journey started actually as an insulin dependent diabetic 35 years ago. When I first started out as a diabetic, I was immediately insulin dependent and stayed insulin dependent until I started dialysis 2 years ago, believe it or not. And my only symptom of having renal problems was excess swelling in my legs, my feet, my hands, and my tummy. They took me to the hospital, and at that point, they told me I had renal damage. Well, once I saw the specialist, lo and behold, I didn't get much time from the time that they told me until the time I was put on dialysis, because by that time, because of the diabetes and being insulin dependent 3 times a day, sometimes four, I was taking a shot, the insulin actually turned on me and turned on my body. And when I found out I had renal problems, I was already in stage 4. I never got one, two, and three. I was already in stage 4, and that's how I wound up on dialysis.
hmm So for 30 some years, you had diabetes, and up until 2 years ago, that's when kidney disease caught up with you.
Yes.
Did they tell you during those years that the diabetes was destroying your kidneys, or did you have any idea that the diabetes were destroying them?
Honestly, I think they were more worried about my heart than my kidneys at the time. Because 35 years ago, if you had kidney disease, usually you just had kidney disease.
Oh,
There was
right,
just something,
right.
it was just something wrong with your kidneys. Either you wasn't drinking enough water, you had some kind of infection, or something like that. So we really didn't have any talks about my kidneys. And I went to the standard diabetes training and classes and things like that. But I
But see,
guess
now, what I was
maybe
going to say,
they
this
did
I don't
not.
understand. If diabetes and hypertension are the leading causes of kidney failure, why they don't stress that enough if you got diabetes?
I guess because I didn't have the trifecta. I just had diabetes. At that time, I didn't have heart disease and I didn't have hypertension. So
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a classic case.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to have a combination of them to get kidney disease. Um,
No, I
Diabetes is
mean,
the
that's why they probably didn't talk to me about it.
okay. Wow, wow.
That's probably why they didn't talk to me about it. Yeah. Anybody
Mm,
think that you have to have one or the other or all three? No, no, no. That's probably why they did not talk to me about it. So, what can we say? Well,
right.
we're doing our best now that we educate people now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Um, so did you start in the hospital or at the outpatient unit when you first started?
I started in the hospital to get that fluid off of me, or else I was going. So I stayed in the hospital for about 8 days, and I took dialysis for first 1 hour a day, then 2 hours a day, and then I got to,
Are you still
hello.
there, Vern?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. Did you hear me?
No, say that again. You
It's
froze up.
Oh, okay. It started in the hospital. I was in the hospital about 8 or 9 days. And at first it was 1 hour a day, then 2 hours a day, then 3 hours a day, and then 4 hours 3 times a week. That second week, it was 4 hours for 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, when we talk off camera, you have mentioned that you still have a catheter. Now, I'm sure there may be some warriors that are watching that been on dialysis for a while that may still have their subclavian catheter, which is located on either side of the chest area. Now, after 2 years, you still have yours?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. Have you had any
And
problems with it?
by Yeah, by now I should have a fistula in my arm. My catheter didn't give me any problems at all, thank God. But the reason why I don't have my fistula is because um, they have tried actually 4 times give me my fistula in my arm, and it has not worked. My veins have not cooperated. So this next time, which will be the three in my arm, that's when they decided they're going to do a graft.
Mm-hmm. Now, wouldn't they do tests to what's called a vein mapping to see what would be, what arm would be the best arm to use and see what your veins look like. Wouldn't you think that they would know before trying that surgery that your veins don't, um, match up for that type of access, and the graft would be the sure way to go? Because at the end of the day, you still have to get the graft, right?
Exactly. In my opinion, I should have had the graft the second time they tried and it did not work. That's why I took a break. After this last surgery I had, I told them that I was not coming back until I had a break because it's already very, very depressing. And I just could not, my spirit couldn't take it. I was overwhelmed and I couldn't do it. Now I'm a little more ready to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going back in February to have it done.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, I took that break because I am my own best advocate. You have to be your own best advocate. Just don't let people who come to see you in a white coat and a stethoscope tell you that you have to do it this way or that way, or it is no way. Educate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Ask questions. You don't have to be belligerent and you don't have to, get up on the bed, and stand up, but you can ask questions legitimately and you can ask questions with a smile on your face.
Let me
But
ask you
let them know
this.
that you want answers. Let them know you want answers. And if they don't have the answers, they need to know somebody who does.
Let me ask you this. Was that what the reason that you're at that point now, was it due to the unnecessary, you believe, unnecessary surgeries that you have for your access?
That is correct. And that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean it's
Mm-hmm.
somebody else's fact. That's just my opinion.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Because if you would have known, see, that's why we educate. Because if people don't know when they go in there and they're very new to dialysis, and the doctor says you got to get an access, and you go to a surgeon, and this is how these guys make a living doing that. So they're not going to dissuade you from getting the access put in. They're going to want you to do it. But the point is, if you don't know to ask those questions, that you already got diabetes, and if your veins are already small, then why would you want to put a fistula in to create something that is probably not going to work because of my veins? Let's just go with a graft and call it a day. But if people don't know that, or don't have the education when that situation is presented to them, then they're going to do something unbeknown to them and end up, unfortunately, in a situation that you end up 2 and 3 surgeries. We had a young lady, um, Phyllis, the other day on, who had about 24 surgeries in her arm. You only
Woo!
had 3. She had 24.
Oh, no, no, no. Mm-mm.
Yes, Phyllis Penn Kittles. She was talking about it on Sisters Against Kidney Disease with Sorrell, that she had 20, it could be more than that. I think it was 26.
Wow.
Don't quote me, but a lot of procedures on her arm. And only thing you could do is shake your head, because at the end of the day, even though your access is not working, they still got paid.
Yeah, that's right. That is correct. And my insurance company still got the bill.
That's unfortunate. So, but at the end of the day, that's why we want to educate and put this information out there. In fact, tomorrow we're going to be talking about, in the kidney disease education moment, we're going to be talking about access care and look, listen, and feel, how one checks their access, look at it and feel it, and make sure that it's working.
Right. Now, to piggyback on education, I want to introduce you to my two best friends. This cup, can you see this cup?
Yes,
And this measuring cup, can you see this?
yes.
Okay. These are my two best friends because as a dialysis patient, you have to monitor your fluids. That is the most important thing. the sodium intake, the phosphorus intake, and your fluids. I measured 32 ounces. I took this cup, I filled it up. I decided how many of these cups can I have before I get to 32 ounces, and I know that I have to stop drinking. I have to stop drinking, or else you're overcome with fluid, and as more fluid they try to take off of you.
Sorry, guys. Wow.
So you get cramping, your blood pressure goes whack, 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 attack. You go high, you go low, which is very dangerous for you. So I say, watch your fluids, please.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I want you to do, as far as education is concerned, is to know what your numbers are on a daily basis. How much sodium you're supposed to have, how much phosphorus you're supposed to have, what's your intake of potassium. All these things matter. They check
Right.
this every time you give blood. They should be checking this. So make sure that your center, every time they take your blood, that they are taking these and that you know what your numbers are.
Mm. Now, let me
Don't
ask
depend
you,
on the nutritionist to tell you. You know what they are.
right? Now, one challenge you have is sight impaired. Now, how are you able to see your numbers on the labels and your measurements? Do you have any special devices to help you measure your fluid intake or see?
No. What I do is I have sight 6 inches away from one of my eyes. My other eye is gone. And that came from the diabetes. But in one eye, I can see 6 inches away from my eye. So I take my cup and I put it all the way up to my eye so that I can see. And that's how I see anything and everything, except for colors, even though I can't distinguish reds from oranges, and I can't distinguish off white from white unless it's right next together, and I can't distinguish blacks from navy blues, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do well in the dark. I can't see curves and things like that. So I very rarely am by myself outside unless I'm sitting on the porch or walking in my block or something like that.
Mm-hmm. How do you get the treatment?
My neighbor's son brings me back, but my son has an early job. He's a chef, so he has to be to work by 6 o'clock. So he drops me off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So since having kidney disease, has it? I'm sure it's been a big challenge in your life and what you do because you do arts and crafts, correct?
Yes, I do. It keeps me sane.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can you give us an example of some of the arts and crafts that you do?
Well, I make jewelry and I do gift baskets. And let me give myself a plug. My company is named KPC, and that is Creative Crafts Plus. And I do gift baskets for any occasion. You can just give me a ring a ding on Facebook or PM me or however you contact, and I'll hook you up. And most of what I do actually comes from memory. I,
Really?
yeah, it comes from memory. Now,
Wow.
I guess
That's
I can explain it this way. If you close your eyes and you feel a grape, now you know that's not an orange, right?
mm-hmm.
Now you only know that's not an orange because of its size. But if I said, close your eyes and tell me if this grape is a red grape or a green grape. Could you tell me?
No.
No.
That's about as close as I can get you.
Wow. My partner just joined in, Miss
Hey,
Tamika
Hello.
Renee.
Moore.
Hi, how are you?
All right.
Yes, yes. Had a little bit
Working.
of technical difficulties, but we got it straight.
Yes. Uh, All right.
So Tamika, Miss Vern, she's a warrior here in Baltimore, Maryland. Been on dialysis 2 years, and we were just talking about her access. She still has a catheter, but because of her diabetes, you say 32 years, Miss Vern?
Almost 35.
Okay, 35 years
Mm.
of diabetes.
Yeah,
Her
I'm
veins.
almost 62.
Okay, you don't look it, but her
Huh? Thank you.
veins. Yeah, her veins.
That's some good genes, yeah, because my dad just turned 102.
Wow, 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 incredible. Uh,
Yeah.
Tamika, her veins weren't equipped, so they did maybe multiple fistula surgeries. But I was saying they do vein mapping. They should have already knew if her veins were small. Why attempt to do multiple fistula surgery when you could have just put a graft in? Because they're
Yes.
going to put a graft in. That she just said that they're going to put a graft in now. You could have did that in the beginning.
Right. But Steve, sometimes these doctors, they're so stuck on the fistula. We gonna try here, or we gonna try on her other arm.
But that's where you gotta be your own advocate, because if it don't work, they still get paid.
Right.
Yeah, I've had it done 4 times already.
See? See, and that's just the doctors and the surgeons trying to get the fistula because they prefer the fistula. They don't want to put the graft in, but sometimes you have to.
That's right. I told
You
them
know,
they weren't. I told them they weren't touching me unless they were going to put a graft in.
I don't blame you.
Mm.
That's too many surgeries.
Yep.
Well, the guest on Sorrell's show had 20 something procedures done on her arm.
Oh hell no. I'm
That's
sorry.
insane.
No. No.
Yeah,
No.
that's
No would have been
down
heard.
in Georgia.
No would have been heard 22 times. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why we stress the importance of being your own health advocate, because some of these doctors, this is what they live for, and this is how they make their bread and butter. So why would they want to, discourage or not, put an access in? Anytime, nephrologist is going to come to somebody at stage 3 and offer to put the access in, they're not giving you any type of hope.
No.
No. But with
Miss
her
Burke,
having diabetes, they should have already been looking into how her veins will be having diabetes so
exactly,
long.
And
exactly.
So they
because
never
I
they never looked
because
at
I
her
was
history or anything.
right, because I was diabetic, that's one thing. But to be a diabetic for as long as I had been a diabetic, and from day
Hmm.
one I was insulin dependent, they should have known from my file I was not a good candidate.
Right,
Right.
absolutely. Miss Byrne, how many hours you run?
Um, 6, 7, 8, 4.
You're
4.
hours,
Uh-huh.
three days a week,
3 days a week. Uh-huh.
and your labs. How are your labs?
My labs are good, except for I had a problem with my protein. I had to take a liquid supplement for a year.
Liquid still. Oh.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I had to take that for a year because see, and then too, I wasn't a big meat eater either,
Uh,
and
they
I
didn't.
wasn't a big bean or legume eater because of the diabetes, because of the carbohydrate.
Right.
So a
They didn't
lot
tell you to
of
eat eggs.
yeah, I ate eggs, but not very often because I wasn't a breakfast eater until I retired. I retired in
Hmm.
2012 and then I started eating breakfast. I didn't eat breakfast really until then, you know. except for maybe a bran muffin or something like that. But I
Mhm.
tell you, it's very difficult for me when I was keeping check on my diabetes and the kidney disease, which was only 6 months into my kidney journey, because everything I learned about eating for diabetes had to go out the doggone window, because
Mhm.
now I was eating brown for the diabetes. Now I can't eat brown for the kidney disease. So I really had a struggle with eating, so much so that it affected my appetite. I didn't want to eat.
Right.
I forced myself to eat more than one meal now.
Mm, mm. Did did you have or do you have trouble sometime with sleeping?
Oh, I do. I have terrible. I don't go to sleep, and even though I go to bed, I don't go to sleep until 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up again at 8:30.
Mhm.
Is
Do
this
you
every
sleep on
night?
the machine?
And then I look around and say, "Oh, it's 8:30." Then I try to go back to sleep,
Mm,
but I have terrible time sleeping. Sometimes the pain wakes me up because I also have fibromyalgia. So
Mm.
sometimes the pain from that wakes me up, and then sometimes the pain when I have my treatment, sometimes the pain in my lower back wakes me up. I have tremors from the dialysis.
mm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Did that just develop or that started since you started dialysis?
since I started, but it's not every time. So I get a break. Yeah.
Hmm. Now, where you live in Baltimore, the dialysis unit is pretty much less than about a mile from your house, right?
Yeah, if I didn't have heart disease, I could actually walk back and forth,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because the way I go is right across from the Ricestown Road Plaza.
Right. I know exactly what facility you're at. One
Yeah,
of the new ones within the last 5 years that's been built in that area.
yep,
Did
it's
you
Mm.
that
know
place.
anything about kidney disease before you actually started dialysis?
Um, Not really. No, I was too busy being concerned about the diabetes.
Right.
Hmm. Do you
Mm-mm.
think if you knew about it that you would have, you know, paid more, paid attention to try to get the diabetes and the kidney disease in control, or do you think that would have been overwhelming trying to manage both?
No, I probably would have, because um, I was at a point in my life where the diabetes was already cutting my life short. So I was trying to do every damn thing I could. I was trying to run, jump, dance, sing. I was trying to do everything because I already knew that, my life was compromised because of the diabetes. So if I had known what I know today, if I had known that even 10 years ago, I would have not started out in stage 4. No matter
Uh,
what my life would have been 25, 30 years from now, I would not have started out at stage 4.
wow.
Mm.
So, Miss Vern, your diabetes doctors never checked your labs, or they never checked your levels to see this coming.
Yes, my primary doctor looked at my labs and told me that there's something going on here. Sent me to the nephrologist.
Hmm.
I went to him. He says, "You're in trouble. You have to change your life."
Hmm.
Okay, what do most of us do? Take our damn time. I
Right.
was in denial for 6 months. 6 months, guess what? I started swelling up like Aunt Nanny's pig. So here I am, trying to educate people to listen, be prepared, read, and listen some more, answer, ask questions, and please eat right. Leave that fast food alone. I was working 2 jobs. I was going from one job to the next. In between time, I was going to the fast food joint because I wasn't going home and cooking dinner. All of these things count. They all count.
And,
Right.
Trust me, people. Trust
and,
me.
and,
Trust me.
and you think not just having the diabetes, but by you incorporating the 2 jobs and the fast food, you think that added on to the increase of stress to accelerate the kidney disease?
Damn Skippy. I want to tell you, here I am live and raw. And let me tell you something. I don't know today or tomorrow when my time gonna come, but until then, I'm gonna have me some big old boxing gloves. Cause my dad, like I told you, is 102 years old. I'm not trying to have him put me in the ground.
Mm.
That would break my heart and I would die twice.
Right.
So
Right.
people, get a grip, people. Get a grip.
Right. So, what did your endocrinologist have to say?
I really don't remember. I didn't spend too much time with him.
Yeah.
Wow.
I honestly did
See,
not.
Yeah.
he
I
could
spent
have
more
avoided
time
all of this.
I spent more time with my nephrologist than I did anybody else because when I came back to see him that second time after he told me I was in trouble, and I came back after that 6 months, and I said to him, I am so sorry that I took your advice for granted and I did not do what you told me to do. So here I am, humbling myself, and here I stand, thank God, standing and not laying in a casket, and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
What's
Okay.
been the most challenging part of this process dealing with kidney disease for you?
Uh, the realization that I could very well leave my family
Hmm.
and they never hear me laugh or cuss somebody out under my breath because I'm in the store and they gonna throw my change on the counter and I gave them my change in their hand
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord.
because I'm funny and I love, and when I love hard and I love forever. And if you cross me, I'm gonna tell you about it, but I'm gonna help you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. How has Facebook been a plus in your life dealing with this disease?
It's been my door to the world. I don't go out because I can't go out by myself. My granddaughter, the youngest one, is in school. My oldest granddaughter works and she has a baby. And my daughter-in-law is a manager, so she works crazy hours. And my son is a chef and he works crazy hours. So basically, I'm here. If I'm not doing my crafting and I'm not watching my court shows, because I love all the court shows, I learn so much from them and then I laugh all day long. Judge Judy is my girl. She the shortest pit bull I know on TV.
Wow.
So I love my Facebook. I don't get into the political arena on Facebook. I don't get into the discriminatory arena on Facebook because for me, it is still entertainment. But if you
Right.
have a business, I will promote the hell out of your business. I will promote anytime your children do something good, anytime you are a facilitator for the good of our community. And that's just who I am. And I'm glad to have Facebook as an advocate for what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Has seeing other people dealing with this uh, battle helped you deal with it a lot better?
Uh, Only when I look at somebody and from their conversation, I can tell that they are using dialysis as a fix it. You can't do that. That's just like being a diabetic and say, "Oh, I'm gonna eat whatever I want to eat because see, when I'm gonna take the insulin and the insulin gonna fix everything." They're
Mm,
using the dialysis like that, and you're not gonna live long doing that.
true.
Mm-hmm.
True.
You can't
Sometimes
eat
I
what you
don't think they
want, do
think
it
like
all
that.
willy nilly. You can't do that and then expect 4 hours on the machine to fix everything, all the damage that you've done.
Right. I don't think those people really understand what dialysis is and what it does.
No, they
They'll
don't.
think twice because all that they're eating is not being dialyzed out. It's only taking out a certain percent of the poison,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If
not all
you
of
would
it.
have to be on dialysis for 23 hours out of the day, even for
Pretty
it to
much.
take away 3 meals.
Yes. Pretty much. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Wow. Have you experienced, so you said you haven't experienced any infection with your catheter, correct?
No, none.
That's great. Do you take showers?
No,
Okay. Good.
I take baths, and I don't wash my own back because there's a chance that water will come around my neck
Mhm.
and get in front. So I have my granddaughter wash my back for me.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. When
Mm-hmm.
they're changing your dressing, do they put a mask on you?
Oh yeah. Oh. Don't, girl. You don't want to know who I am when I think ain't nobody gonna put on no gloves or no mask or have no alcohol pads or oh Lord no. Mm-mm.
That's good. I just went to, you know,
Yeah.
I just want to know.
Tamika, girl.
Miss Vern, in the 2 years since starting treatment at the facility where you're at, have you seen a decrease in service, patient care, quality in patient care, the deliverance, or shorter staff?
Fortunately, not at my center because I tell you, I'm kind of in awe because the nurses at my facility, they know everybody by name. They know, okay, when they come to me and I say I'm cramping, they immediately come look at my blood pressure because they know that I am a patient where my blood pressure will tank immediately and very fast. So they know that my cramping is about to get worse. So they turn me off immediately. They give me a glass of water, cold water, and if that doesn't ease my cramping, they give me some mustard and it usually goes away. But they know immediately what my challenges are. And I'm very grateful for that. They don't come and look and say, "Oh, I wonder what's wrong. What's happening? What's going on?" They know immediately when I say I'm cramping or I start to feel dizzy like I'm going to faint. They know my blood pressure has tanked. And I have gone from 157 over something to 60 something over something in like
Mm,
5 minutes. And I'm like, well, am
mm,
I still alive? I don't even know if I'm still alive.
Right. Miss Vern, let me just share something with our audience. Um, the the act of giving mustard is not a standard procedure in the dialysis unit.
No, it's not.
Um, so did the mustard come from the staff, or it came from another kidney warrior, or is something that you already had with you?
It came from a kidney warrior and it came from someone who was on the staff.
Right. Now,
It came from both, but that's why in the beginning, I immediately gave my disclaimer. I
mhm.
am not a nurse. I am not a doctor. I do things for me that help me. This is
Right,
not a standard that happens in the center. You are
right, but
not
it
going to find
is.
anybody who tells you that this is what they should be doing.
no,
Right.
absolutely. And let me just say that's a common practice among kidney warriors, because even at the facility where I worked at, we had a lady who had a bottle of mustard that she brought and used anytime she started cramping. She started sucking on that mustard.
And
Okay.
let me say that that mustard that came even when I was exercising a lot and I was a runner in my 30s. That was a fix for cramping of my legs.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
that's been an old wives' tale for a long time.
Right. Are you on a standard bath, Miss Vern? Are you on a standard bath? Do you have a special bath?
Yes,
Okay. Because I was just wondering why they didn't just give you a little bit more potassium if you cramp a lot.
they gave me the needle in my IV.
No,
I
like
mean,
change your bath. Your
yes, the bed. Yes,
Okay.
I don't know why I said IV. I'm thinking
Well,
about something
usually
else.
they don't do that, Tamika. Not unless her potassium was either low or high.
Very low. Yeah, either.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should give you saline anyway, but I know sometimes at my unit, what they'll do if a person continuously cramp all the time, then the doctor chooses to change the bath.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what happened to Vern. She just like dropped out of sight.
You could have
So
hit something.
yeah, yeah. Well, her daughter-in-law is there. You know, she's sight impaired. So
Right.
um, hopefully her daughter-in-law will get that situation straight. I was asking them about the charger, was a phone charge, and they told me it was at 70%. And in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe you need to go get that charger, because that's
All
going
the
to
way.
burn
Yeah.
some power using this. So I bet you that's what happened.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah. So until we get Vern back, what's going on, Tamika? How you doing?
I'm good. I've been reading some different articles, but it's one that really got me, and it was one talking about when a patient is transplanted, like some of their cravings go to the person that got the kidney. I'm sorry, when a patient receives when a patient receives a donated kidney, that when that kidney is inserted to the patient or whatever, they get some of their cravings. Now I was reading it, I don't know how true it is, but I don't put nothing past the human body because the
Right.
cells are being transferred and everything. So I don't know. I'm still doing more research on it.
That's
I don't
interesting.
know. It's very, very interesting. I've read when people got heart transplants, some of their memory, like it's just different stuff that you don't want to say no, that's not real. But then what when it comes to the human body, we don't know 100%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I
So
don't know.
so Tamika, let's talk about those pictures I posted the other day. We're not going to name the company where these photos came from, and that doesn't, the photos that you may have seen on here doesn't reflect all of the corporation companies that are out there. However, the place where this photo was taken has since been renovated, but it's still it's better than what the picture shows. However, the point is, Tamika, if something is like that, it's not my place to come into a job and clean that tank, scrub it down, and go upstairs and draw medication and do patient assessments. I don't think that's anybody's job. Now that you know, the point is, if that was taken care of in the beginning when the people were in place and everything was set up, then it wouldn't take 5, 10, 15 years for someone to show a picture to show you what's really going on downstairs.
Right, but with that person saying that, Steve, I wouldn't even pick it up or lay it down because you know that's not your job. You get what I'm saying? Like when you seen it, you could have alerted someone, but that's not your job. That's not your job to do that. That's not what the nurse do. At no center, the nurse does that. So for that person to say that, I wouldn't even pick it up because obviously they're foolish and they just want to have something to say.
Yeah, I
And
thought about that today. I
and
thought
sometimes
about
you
that
can't
today.
entertain negative people.
Yeah, but you know
You
what?
can't entertain them no matter how you didn't like what they say or you want to justify it. You can't entertain them because you're gonna be just as foolish as they are.
Yeah,
You're justifying
absolutely,
what you already
absolutely.
know.
And
Yes.
I looked up the word disgruntled, and that means displeased, disagree. Of course, somebody's going to be disgruntled if you work in conditions like that. Why wouldn't you be disgruntled? It just don't make any sense. And at the end of the day, when you have people who work in the same profession you do, and when you're trying to show the truth and they attack you, that tells you that is no camaraderie in this field when you're trying to make a difference and show people what's happening in the conditions that certain personnel work under, and then you have the same personnel that work under the same conditions attack you. What do you call that?
Are you sure that person is valid? Is that person a staff member? Are they a real nurse? Are they a real tech? Or are they just on that page just to be on their page?
Well, no, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about I had attack from where I was at one point.
Well, Steve, at work, that's where the relationships are at work. So don't expect to leave a job and have relationships. Everyone
Well,
turns on
I
you.
don't have no relationship with them people. I'm talking about when I was there and I reported the situation.
Right. It's a whole bunch of phoniness.
Mm.
Now there's times where you do connect with people. Yes, there are times where you do connect with people, but a lot of times your relationship stands as long as your job remains.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So,
So
yeah, I'm
I'm
glad I
not worried
posted the
about
picture
that.
just to show people what some of these facilities that make millions of dollars, and when you allow a place to have something like that throughout the years, the patients don't know because they don't go in those places to see what's actually going on.
Right. And a lot of times people are able to speak on what they don't know. So if it didn't happen to them or they don't know about it, of course they're going to sit there and speak on it. It's easy like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's easy like that. People always run their mouth on what they don't know until they're in that situation. And then they want to be like, you know what? I should have thought about that a little better, or I shouldn't have said that, instead of them just being humble and not saying anything because it's not their problem.
Yeah. I don't think Vern coming back on. That was a good interview with her. She,
Yes.
she spoke her mind, And like she said, she had a disclaimer. Not every body is the same. What works for her may not work for you. Just
Exactly.
like Chef Chaffee, he hasn't taken what transplant medication for 10 years, and his transplant is still working good. That's not going
Right.
to work for everybody.
Right. Everyone have different body mechanics. Everyone can't take everything. So you gotta do what's best for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
So,
remember I had this one patient pay attention to another patient, and he said, take off so many kilos. So they was fouling behind another patient. So I said, are you sure you want that? He was like, yeah. I'm like, you don't have that much to take off. But him looking at what someone else was doing, he wound up bottom out, going out. And I'm telling him, like, I already told you, you didn't need to take that off. But since you knew more than me, I'm going to take that off and I'm going to show you. And I sat right there. His blood pressure started to drop. And I said, I told you. And he said, I would never pay attention to what someone else is doing again. I said, exactly.
and it's funny that you say that, because I was just sitting here thinking, about all the misconceptions and what you had mentioned, miseducation of kidney disease, situations just like that. Do you know, for instance, patients that do peritoneal and it may not worked out for them, and they told somebody else, and somebody else hears someone else's negative uh, situation that may have had some problems and may not do it because that person experienced. That don't mean that they're going to experience. Just like with transplant, if somebody have an issue with a transplant and they tell the next person, or the person hear that story, they may be afraid to get on the transplant list because they hear, misconceptions about it or different myths.
Right.
I
Or,
mean, Tamika, you can even take that to these chat rooms on Facebook, in these groups where people who are not, medical dialysis techs or nurses, and may give another warrior some information that may be totally false and be I'm sorry, it could be contraindication to their treatment.
right. Well, a lot of times what happened is they start to get educated and then want to educate, but not every situation is for everybody because you don't know that whole person's reason for whatever's going on with them. They're only on there saying, oh, well, my leg is cramping. They never talked about they were eating on a machine. You
Mm-hmm.
get what I'm saying, Steve? Like they never brought up anything prior. Oh, well, my blood pressure keep dropping an hour after I'm on the machine. Well, were you eating? Well, I did have on a machine that could have caused it, but in the chat rooms, there's doctors that don't have PhDs, and
Mm-hmm.
they trying to tell people about care. And I understand that they trying to help them, but not every situation is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yep.
wind up taking their advice and being jammed up in some type of way.
Right. That's why you gotta be your own health advocate.
Yes, you have to.
Mm-hmm.
Like what Ms. Vern says, she has diabetes, she has heart disease, and on dialysis. So not every dialysis diet she needs to be on.
Right. Right.
So they need to make a specific renal plan, not one that they just give someone for renal disease. They have to think about that she has diabetes, so she can't have all those carbs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know something I thought about today that I wanted to just bring up with the federal shutdown,
Mm-hmm.
because I know there's warriors that are federal workers. This disease affect broad spectrum of people, but I wonder if the Kidney Foundation has offered to help, any warriors out with, maybe some behind bills due to not able to get paid. or would they qualify because their income as a federal worker um, exceeds their guidelines on how much one may have to make?
I doubt it very seriously. The National Kidney Foundation is different from what it used to be back in the day, Steve. They used to do a lot more for patients. They don't do as much as they used to do for patients.
I understand, and that's why I don't understand why everybody is entitled to their opinion or what they want to do, but I just don't understand why people continue to use them when they had their birthday to donate to the organization and the kidney
Mhm.
walk. And I mean, God bless you for doing it, for raising awareness, but people are just being used because they're turning the money over to the Kidney Foundation, and you don't hear no more about the money or where it's going to. How many years have they been talking about research? I mean, what's the results from the research? Kidney disease is
Right,
still here, still thriving. More
right,
clinics are still being built.
right.
So
And they're not hosting any education in the community. They're not paying for any education in the community. They're not coming to the centers educating. I think the misconception is the National Kidney Foundation, when the social workers come around, they tell them who's helping doing this, who's helping doing that. They're not telling them that, oh, well, they'll help you do this for a little bit and they only pay a certain percentage of this, that, and other. Tell really what goes on with the National Kidney Foundation. They will stop giving so much and
mm,
start giving to organizations that really, truly help them.
yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate. This disease, man, I can't tell you how many warriors that I've met that, I mean, lost jobs, homes, cars. I mean, just because one situation landed them in the hospital and they couldn't, had their job held. It's unbelievable.
Right. And a lot of times jobs don't care. Jobs don't care about your medical situation. And then sometimes people don't want to be honest to their employer and pull them to the side and say that they're having this problem, so they won't let them know how serious it is. Where your job may hold your spot if you're just honest.
Yeah, I definitely have a education piece about that, working in dialysis and some of the language that you should talk with your boss about and how you should say it, and some of the terminology you should use, and asking for time off for FMLA or medical leave,
Right,
disability leave to cover this period of time until you can get back to work. And then some people
right,
just can't get back to work just because of some of the complications that they may entail with kidney disease. They may be too weak or
right.
whatever the case may be at the treatment, or they may can't get a treatment time, shifted
It
around
was
their work schedule.
right. And not just that, Steve, the mental. So it's just not physical with this disease, it's the mental. So
Mhm.
sometimes you can't get your mental right to get back to work to be able to do dialysis because it's overwhelming.
It is, and that's why I think it's important to have these type of shows and talk to different kidney warriors to see what other people are doing and the challenges that they incur with this disease and how they overcome it. Because we had so many stories that we shared, Tamika, of warriors going through the same problems but
Mm.
overcoming. Renal Warrior out in California doing his marathons and bicycle tours,
Right.
to your cousin down in
Alexander,
Georgia,
yeah.
Alexander. AL Smooth, a mountain biker. So, we can stand in front of this disease. It's just being educated and being mindful of what you have to do. Stay in front of it.
Right. And keep raising awareness. Like,
Mm-hmm.
keep educating people. Go to your doctors. Like, go to your doctors and get tested. Even if they be like, oh, you don't need to test. No, just go get tested. It's just some urine, or they draw some blood. But just go get tested and see what your levels are.
Please,
Because it
that's
is a
very important
silent
to get
killer,
tested.
and you could be at stage 4 and not even know it.
Yeah, and once you get tested, please do something about it.
Yes.
Ask questions, ask what the numbers mean, ask
Hmm.
what you can do to prevent kidney disease, the progression, because they're steadily building dialysis clinics. They're not going anywhere. Those
No, it's
clinics are not
more.
going anywhere. Matter of fact, they're expecting people
Mhm.
to be more people to be diagnosed.
Yes, especially Steve with the opioids and stuff like that, with the overdose. I'm sorry, with the overdoses. Yes.
But you know what? What I saw today that's going to be crazy that
Hmm.
people need to be mindful about when it comes to eating now with a lot of the fast food establishment. I don't know when this is going to be happening, but it's coming. They showed on, I saw the news where robots are going to be replacing like service workers, and they show where a robot was making hamburgers and working like behind the fast food counter. And
It's
I
not
say that,
surprising.
what I say that to say that the food is not going to be handled by humans. It's going to be handled by robots. So now the food is going to be compact. It's going to be nothing but processed. It's not going to be the regular fresh fruits and vegetables. It's all going to be, I would think, chemical based ingredients, process. Because anytime you got a machine that's handling that, it's almost like a system.
But Steve, what do you think it is now?
It is absolutely.
That's what it is now. We just don't see everything.
And that's scary because with the diseases coming, I mean, everything is getting high. A bottle of insulin that's been around for 30, 40 years that used to cost $20 a bottle is up to over $100 a bottle. Come on.
Because it's demand. It's demand. So if they have a lot of people getting, they're going to up the price. That's
Absolutely.
normal.
But you have other drugs that's been around for years that hasn't changed in compound, that like penicillin.
Hmm.
But the point is I believe as time goes on, is like you said, it's already a system, but pharmaceuticals, um, medical dialysis hospitals, chronic diseases, and the food.
Hmm. The food is causing the illness, unless you're born with it or it's hereditary. But a lot of the illness is coming from the food. Your body having an allergic reaction. That's why a lot of people get diabetes, because of allergic reaction
Mm,
I'm sorry, to the food that they're eating.
hmm I mean, when you have a lot of different mixtures of chemicals going into your body, it's definitely going to be a reaction to it. I mean, you don't
Right.
even know half of the chemicals that they're putting in unless you read the back and then you look it up. Again, like when we were
Right.
talking about
Exactly.
petroleum jelly,
That's a
clogging your
chemical.
pores.
Yes. Yes. And then that lotion that they give the diabetics, it's this white lotion, and you gotta rub it on and rub it in and rub it in and rub it in. That's nothing but a skin protectant. This not dealing with the dry feet. It's just
Yeah.
putting an overlay over the dry feet. It's not doing anything for anything else.
hmm No, no nutrient or anything like that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Not
But
at all.
let me ask you this: do you eat Oreo cookies or cookies that had the cream in the middle? No. Reason why. No, but let me just say this, and the people who watching, if you eat Oreo cookies or cookies that got the sandwich cream in the middle, you can look this up. This is facts. Look on the back of the package. It has an ingredients called glycerol. Glycerol is a byproduct of glycerin. I'm sorry, glycerin is a byproduct of glycerol. Glycerin is one of the chemicals that's in the sandwich cookies. But glycerol, is part of the is a product that's in antifreeze, and that same product is used in making ammunition, household products. So you got to be real cautious when you're eating um, some of these sandwich cookies and packaged cookies, and look at the ingredients in the back, because a lot of these ingredients are used in other manufacturers like ammunition, soap products, household products. So it's really scary. And when you think about the many diseases, like Vern mentioned, fibromyalgia,
Mm-hmm.
20, 25 years ago, I never heard of fibromyalgia. And
Mm.
it's almost sound like you said, with the food stuff, we don't know what they're putting in it
It's
and
just
what
like the
it's
autism.
causing.
It's just like the autism. Who heard of autism 25 years ago? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
no. And so many children have it. Like, where did it come from? What happened? And Steve, you
yeah.
really
So
messed it up for me with the Oreo cookies. I'm gonna have to put them there. What about chocolate chip? I
yeah.
need to, I'm gonna have to look up chocolate chip. Chips Ahoy chocolate chip.
Well, all those foods that
I
come in the
know.
package.
I know.
I
It's just
know.
so
I'm sure that there's a healthy choice.
good. It don't taste the same, but I understand. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah,
Yes. Wow. You learn something new every day. That's
yeah.
crazy that they have that ingredient on it. I'm going to find it and I'm going to post that because there's so many warriors that eat Oreo cookies that have a sweet tooth and they eat Oreo cookies or other packaged snacks and they need to look for these ingredients along with myself.
I guess one will argue in hearing this and say, well, I don't feel anything, or it hasn't caused anything. But when you think of the bigger picture, when you're ingesting this stuff and you have multiple issues like aches here, aches there, we don't know the molecular uh, level of destruction that
It's
this
doing.
stuff is causing over the long period of time. I mean, we don't know. We're not scientists, but if you think back in the 1800s, and I know we're not in the 1800s,
Mhm.
but we're industrialized, but you're thinking of packaged foods, chemicals that's been, um, you, put together, and we ingesting it and not knowing what is the outcome.
Right, like people that drink Pepsi and Coca-Cola.
But yeah, exactly. And you know what? I had to take the subway the other day, right? It's 11:10, so we can close it up. But I wanted to tell you this. I took the subway the other day, and I was in the station, and I saw something from John Hopkins that was looking for males between 18 to 60 that smoke crack and use cocaine for a study. Right, for a study that wanted to stop. They wanted to find people that in that age range that smoke
Mhm.
cocaine, that wanted to stop. and they wanted to use this drug to see if it would help them decrease the cravings. I say that to say, you know, when you're doing these studies and they ask for volunteers, again, even though they may be offering money, you don't know the long-term effects of these drugs. And then John Hopkins, I mean, are you serious? There's no way I would go to John Hopkins to do no research, you know, not no research, because they're known for that.
And not, Stephen, not just that, it's a teaching hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a guinea pig and you're being studied. And they haven't done enough studies on humans, so they're going to use you. They don't know what the outcome is. That's why you're going to sign a waiver. And half of the people don't read the waiver, so they just sign it and just get in the program to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
Not looking at long-term effects of what this study can cause, what this medicine can cause.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right, Tamika, that was a great interview with Vern. Don't look like she's coming back on. We waited long enough for her. So I don't have my schedule book to tell you who our guest is for next week, but trust me, it's going to be a great guest, as all of our guests are.
Yes, I like to say goodbye to Oreo cookies.
It'll be all right.
I'm sorry, I had to take a moment of silence. Okay. Oh,
it's all good.
So who's on next week? You don't know?
I do, but it's in my schedule book. I don't have it here.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So I'm leaning back because I had surgery, so I can't sit up right now.
Oh, but, you all right? I say, are you all right?
Yeah, I just have to keep my leg elevated for 2 weeks, and then I get like a cam boot or some crap. I don't know. But yeah, that's why I'm like sit back all crazy. But thank everyone for joining the program tonight.
Yeah,
we will
guys,
see you all
thanks
next
for
week.
joining us.
Thank you, Ms. Vern.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing some awesome things coming up, and we look forward to doing a anniversary show as well.
Yes, and don't forget, probably what is it going to be next week? Let me see the calendar. No, actually, next Thursday will be our last Thursday on this channel here. So the next shows will be on the U Home Network, and that's to make sure that all of our shows is just on one page, and you could just see different shows consecutively. So yeah, we have some good things coming up. So yes.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions? Real quick, Steve, we forgot to ask questions. So it's 11. We give to 11:15 when we close it. Anyone have any questions? Ms. Burns said she's going to try to come back soon. She has a lot to say.
Oh, okay. Tamika, I hope you recover quickly. Hey, Uzo, how you doing? Tamika, you make me laugh. RXJ Uzo, I'm not sure who you are, but how you doing? Thanks for tuning in.
I think there was a question in the beginning about a fistula or a graft. I'm trying to scroll down and see real quick. What is it? Someone wanted to know what is a fistula versus a graft. So a fistula is your natural vein, and the graft is, I think it's a Gore-Tex graft. That's what they use now. Do they still use that, Steve?
What's that?
To make a graft, it's like the Gore-Tex material.
Yeah, the Gore-Tex graft, and then they have other materials as well. They may use the bovine graft.
Right. But they prefer to use the fistula because it's natural.
Right. So I was Uzo. You met me at Owens Mill Dialysis. No, I was reading. Somebody had a comment. They said they met me at Owens Mills. That's here in. and here, Maryland, right around the corner from me. So I was just wondering if it was the dialysis facility or just a generalized area in Owens Mills.
Oh,
Yeah, Tamika, not everybody's going to qualify for that fistula because
right.
of that diabetes. So I wonder if they have any new type of synthetic material that they can use as a graft that could be so natural, almost to like a fistula.
I don't know. I mean, I know that it's coming out. You know that it's coming out. Technology is amazing. It's a double-edged sword.
Oh, I know who this is. This is the pharmacy person, young lady
Okay.
named Uzo, who I took a picture of that has a transplant banner on her car.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yep. She just said I'm looking at the thing. She said you saw my car sticker. She's a pharmacist.
Okay.
And did you get the transplant? I
All
know
right. IJ.
talking all cute, but I'm wondering if she got a transplant. I met her at Kinko's near my house, and
Mm-hmm.
I met her, Tamika. I pulled in and I saw her car, and it had the a sign on it looking for a kidney donor. And,
Okay.
and I walked into Kinko's, and when they walked out, went to the car. I went to the car and gave her my card and talked with her. And oh man, I'm glad you tuned in. Wow. Okay, she didn't get the kidney yet, but keep watching us. It was a pleasure meeting you. That's incredible. And this was maybe like several months ago,
Oh wow.
maybe
Uzo,
like 4 months ago or something like
keep
that.
posting. Keep posting about you need a kidney and tell them what type of blood you are. Like keep posting every day. Post, post,
Yeah.
post.
Hey Jeffrey and Jared, please can you connect with this young lady, please? Hey Stephanie.
Oh, IJ now. Oh yes.
But
Keep
see, this
posting.
if this is if people keep getting involved like this, I believe Tamika, this is how we could. I don't want to say get a handle of kidney disease, but at least make an impact with education to get people knowing what is coming and how to prepare
Right.
if they're hit with it.
Right. Right. You know what, Steve? Something just came to my mind of just having a show of random people coming on for a minute asking for a kidney, telling their blood
Yeah,
type
I thought about
and
that.
keep it moving. You know, the next person. We put the link up there and they stay in the lobby until we're ready for them and then keep it moving and
Why
just
don't
do
you
a
set
whole
that up?
day. Yes.
You got the idea, set that up. I want to do that.
Yes.
That's
I
almost
think
like
that's great.
America's Most Wanted. You look in,
Exactly. Exactly. They be
I like
ready
that
and just
idea. Let's
ready
do it.
to go. And whoever able to come on, they'll just come on, and then we'll go from there. I
Yeah.
think they'll be nice. Put their name up there and what their A positive, whatever, and go from there. Because I don't know the blood type. I'm not gonna lie, I
No,
don't.
but no, that sounds so. This is what we can do to give everybody a chance, and we're not taking nothing away from our guys, Jared and Jeffrey. They still gonna do theirs.
Yeah.
But what
Yes.
we can do, we make this, we give you the link, Tamika. We could put up a link, and anybody who's on the transplant list looking for a kidney, all you will have to do on a specific day is go to that link, or you got to download the Beeline TV app, and then you click on the link that they would have to. How would they get the link?
We will put it on Facebook. That's all. We'll put the link. It'll be an open link on Facebook, and then whoever they are, y'all have to excuse the meds. I'm on pay meds, so excuse some of my words are slurred. Whoever they are, they could just start coming in. It's like a flow. We'll let them know from the door. This is what we'll have. We could have Jared on one time, and then we could have Jeffrey on the next time. So they'll
Mm,
help us with the process.
that would be great. Y'all guys hear that? And then anybody who
Right.
is looking for a kidney that's registered at a hospital, you can come on, say who you are, what you're looking for, your blood type, and it doesn't have to be. It could be what, a minute, 60 seconds.
Yep. Just a minute. So within the hour, let's say we can get 40 people on, and I'm just giving time for things to go wrong. Maybe
Wow.
more. We'll see. But if it
Yeah,
works the
whoever
first time,
enters the lobby, whoever enters
right,
the lobby, we could just put them on. It could,
right, and
yeah.
we can have up to 10 people in the lobby at one time. So if this works well one time, we could do it the next time.
Oh, we can have 10 people in the lobby.
Yes, you can have up to 10 people in the lobby.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hmm.
So, wow. That,
Yep.
oh man, that'd be great. We're gonna
Yep.
do like
And
what,
this
once a month or something like that.
once a month. Yep. Once a month. I think they'll be good. Let
So
them come on.
yeah, so guys, you hear that? Spread the word. We're gonna be starting, I
Yeah,
guess in
give it a name.
February.
Help us with a name. Help us come up with a name for this, guys.
Yeah, you got to work on that
I
project
am.
to
I am.
get
I gotta
a name
think of a
for it.
name.
And
Jared, I need a name. Help me out. I'm on pain pills, so I need help right now. My brain is halfway working.
all right, you need your.
All right. Sheesh.
All right, I want to be in touch with you tomorrow morning because
Okay.
we're going to do that.
Yes.
No,
Yep. That's an awesome idea. And it brings hope to other people, and that's what they need, to keep hope and keep faith and don't give up. Sometimes they see the person that's been in the chair 2 months, 5 months, a year getting a kidney, and they've been in the chair 5 years and been on a transplant list for 3. Or they've been in a chair for 15 years and been on a transplant list for 13 years. And the person next to them just got a kidney, and the person behind them got a kidney, and someone just walking in the door just got a kidney. And sometimes they lose hope.
mm-hmm. I was thinking maybe something called the transplant hour.
Hmm. Transplant hour.
I don't
Okay,
know.
we'll go back and forth. Yeah, we'll play with it. Yeah.
Oh,
Kidney
Jared said,
alive. We'll play with some names and sleep on it, and we'll do the name game tomorrow. We'll take a poll. How about that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, but that's a good idea. I mean, in fact, like you said, the whole hour, somebody's coming on for a minute um, to share their story. That's going to be a big task.
Right. And it's not that they sharing their story. It's
Oh
just
no,
like
no, no.
a quick elevator speech, what they call in business the elevator speech. Hi, my name is Tamika Moore. I've been doing dialysis for 20 years. I would like to advocate for people with kidney disease and change lives.
Yeah, yeah. You
So
gotta have it together. You gotta
you
have it
got to have it
together.
together. Yes. Yes. I got rejected. They put you back on the list. Good. It's rough. Yes, it is, Kendall. So we'll see y'all next week. And anyone come up with a name, tag me and Steve. Well, Steve and I, Jared and Jeffrey, and we'll be back with y'all.
All right. Sounds
Okay.
good. Good night, everyone. Thanks for
Good
watching.
night, everybody.
We're gonna have Vern back on. See you,
Yes.
Tamika. Definitely talk to you
Good night,
tomorrow.
everyone. Good night, Ms. Vern. Yes. Good night.
All right.